throwing fits, ripping shit, tearing it, imperative. Then I'm killing this mic no matter where I live. These derelict rappers acting a fool, this embarrassing, is flagrant. That's the nature of this entertainment, and we can't even change it. Guilty before arraignment, now the system tainted. But when we speak, they all laugh at us, and y'all wonder why I'm lacking trust. Try to fight a giant with attorneys that can back them up. That's church versus science, both sides start acting up. I'm late on my assignment, hopping up a mile high, climbing, obviously never silent. New alignment, I'm defined, cannot describe it. Used to describe it as a young graffiti artist. Before the beard, I always got carded. Hit every bar, even though my bar's been the hardest. The scars on my face, and I ain't always been the smartest. But I'll show you where my heart is. I said I'll show you where my heart is. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve, even if the beat stops my soul.
Ladies and gentlemen, the trio's back. It's Little Tuesday action, sports nonsense and whiskey. How we doing, gentlemen? Pinky, Robert.
Tuesday.
Apologies for last week. Good to see you, sirs.
That's all right. We had you covered.
We are.
I know you gentlemen do.
We are days away from Tron. I'm so ready.
We're not there yet, Robert, but I get you. I got you.
Hey,
What day
yes,
does it come out?
Technically Thursday. I'm going Friday and I'm going Saturday so far, and I'm sure I'll go see another down either before that or after that.
Supposedly he's going to see it with me as well, so we'll see.
I mean, you keep talking about it.
Well,
you don't like going to my theater.
You booked all the screenings before I even got in and got a chance. So
I said I've got Friday and Saturday. Okay.
Wait, what's your theater?
I go to the IMAX because IMAX is the West.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And Pinky wants to recline.
Because
Forgot about that.
I have a Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos capable system at home, so I don't need to pay for that. I can't get IMAX shit at home, so get IMAX.
I mean, it's hard to argue with him on that situation. If you're a moviegoer, then I would lean towards Robert's side, Pinky. Apologies.
If that
I'm not a moviegoer though, so I don't give a shit. Like,
if the IMAX wasn't so shitty, I would definitely agree with him. But the
IMAX theater has reclining seats, Pinky.
No, it's so small. You're cramped up. I'm like making love to the guy next to me. Like, those seats are way too small for that theater. Like, that is not the best IMAX theater you could go to. It's just the only one in town.
I mean, yes, you are correct, and that's why I go to it, because I'm not. I mean, I will drive out of my way to go to.
Again,
Tron
we're in different categories, my friend. I'm a big fat guy who needs a little bit of space. I don't need somebody right on top of me, and they don't need me on top of them.
I mean, I'm accepting donations, Pinky.
The IMAX theater is not comfortable, so that's just how it gets down.
All right then.
So, but we'll talk about Tron because
we'll get there.
It'll be coming up. It'll be coming up at the last 30-minute nonsense segment as usual, when that kind of thing is fully opened up and discussed, if you will. Lot to discuss. A lot of sports going on right now. There's going to be two of them that we barely even talk or discuss, and that's just, it is what it is. Okay, we don't follow them. We as a collective do not follow them closely enough to give you a very good breakdown of regular seasons and postseason as a show. So we mention, because we enjoy sports and one of us does watch, and so they allow me the opportunity to at least discuss slightly, which is very kind of them. And then we move on. But we've got a lot of NFL. Dude, first quarter of the season roughly is over. There's a lot to discuss on that situation. College, a whole lot to discuss on that situation as well with what happened this last weekend. We've got F1 news, championships, chaos coming potentially.
And
we shall discuss. We got to talk a little MLB. I cannot thank these guys enough for at least being willing to discuss it ever so slightly last week without me being here. The playoffs started. Pinky agrees it's worth discussing still, even ever so slightly. There's been a lot that happened since last Tuesday. We're already second round, almost into conference finals, okay? Championships, National League, American League championships in a couple situations. So there's a lot going on there. NHL kicks off tonight. Games on in front of me because there's sports to put on Tuesday nights again. Basketball will be coming up in a couple weeks. There's a lot going on. And then, as the fellas discussed, Peacemaker, oh my goodness. And then little Tron. Robert needs to get a little Tron in. All good. Can't blame him. So without further ado, Pinky, to jumpstart us this evening, I pose to you and Robert a question. Are we in the midst of, and this is something you never really know until after it's happened, but to be able to kind of think about this in the moment, are we in the midst of the changing of the guard as far as who those top teams are and that, cyclical kind of changeover that happens every so often in the NFL? Are we witnessing it right now? Are we in the midst of the teams you expect to be at the top not going to be there soon? Your San Francisco's in the NFC, your Rams in the NFC, the Chiefs, the Ravens in the AFC, even the Bengals, given what's happened with their injuries and seeing how fragile they are without Joe Burrow. Are we in the midst of that, or is it just one of those crazy seasons and everything will fix itself, in the end kind of thing?
Robert, you're kind of the not quite on the hardcore level that Caleb and I are on. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn there. What do you think?
So, I mean, definitely there's been an apparent, I would say, change in the wind with things going on this season. Definitely not some of the way that we expected things to start off. I mean, you've got the sheet there, Caleb, so we know how off our predictions are, which is the point at the end of the day. But, I mean, I don't know. After the last night with Jacksonville and the Chiefs, I just really don't see the Chiefs putting on a show against Detroit next week. I just really don't. I mean, they in theory should beat the Raiders, but I mean at this point, are the Chiefs just open for just the taking? I really think so. I don't see them being a strong team right now. There's a lot of miscommunications, a lot of dumb penalties. I mean, shoot, they lost the game. They lost what? At least 25 to 30 yards in 10 seconds in the last, 15 seconds of the game at least. I mean, it was stupid. I mean, mistake after mistake after mistake. Like, it just got to be a joke. Like, the Chiefs are pretty much handing the win over to Jacksonville. I mean, it is kind of mind-boggling. And speaking of Jacksonville, I mean, they definitely might be something worth talking about. I mean, the lineup that Travis Hunter had on defense against Kelsey last night was awesome. That was one of my favorite parts of the night. Just kind of seeing that element, because he ended up getting 60 snaps in, I think, in total yesterday. Just absolutely,
every week.
Upper echelon athlete. It's fun to watch. It's and that was one of the few things that we talked about at the beginning of the season, is that seeing what Travis Hunter is going to be doing, and he's living up to it. He certainly is becoming a key component in Jacksonville. Jacksonville, I think, may have it to get to the playoffs, to go the distance. I don't know, but I definitely think they're in a conversation worth having right now. The Eagles, I mean, they're kind of a slow burn. They didn't look great against the Broncos. They kind of, again, lost it in the fourth quarter for themselves. Broncos came in and just hit him with the steel chair and said, "Okay, we're moving on." Like, just checking out. World champs, nothing to us. So we'll see what happens. It's the Broncos and Jets this weekend. I still think the Broncos are in the conversation, but they're still kind of struggling a little bit as a sophomore offense, I would say. Bo Nix is still kind of figuring things out. Sean Payton still seems to kind of be a little confused. I don't know what you would say on that, Pinky, but Sean Payton really doesn't seem to have a kind of a clear offensive direction right now. It's kind of all over the place.
Okay.
So those are kind of my big ones right now. I mean, I still think the Lions are actually going to be contenders. We didn't really have them high. Initially, when we were talking seriously on our sheet, we had them really high, I know, but after they started a few different things, we weren't 100% sure. So it's good to see the Lions still kind of being in that conversation.
So before we talk about the Lions, coming back to your question, Caleb, I'm going to say no, that we're not changing in the guard at the moment. I just think a lot of the upper echelon teams that we have right now, that we've had for the last 3, 4, 5 years, all have some serious issues that are going to cause them to possibly struggle this season. Whether you talk about the Chiefs offense is starting to go up and the Chiefs defense is starting to come down. I also think teams aren't afraid of the Chiefs right now. And I don't know if that's playing into their play calling where they played conservative in the past and now they're willing to attack the Chiefs like they weren't in the past. I don't think teams are scared of them. I still think the Chiefs are going to be there in the end. I mean, I've seen the offense the last 2 weeks. The offense has gotten a lot better than what it looked the first couple weeks of the season. So
not just that, I think people are forgetting and underestimating how big of an ad Rashee Rice is going to be when he comes back to that offense.
Doesn't he come back in like 2 weeks?
Yeah.
The dynamic that he creates as both a big play receiver and a possession receiver to then help open up that same area of the field for Travis Kelce, which then explodes the speedsters, right, Pinky, and the run game.
Right now, they've got Hollywood Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster kind of playing the Rashee Rice role.
Right.
And neither one of them has the escapability of Rashee Rice, the yards after catch that Rashee Rice will generate. So absolutely, they won't have to quite rely on Kelce. Kelce looks just completely washed.
He should have retired 2 seasons ago.
As much as he thought he was feeling good, he does look like he's lost a full step at this point. I will say, in his defense, though, it does appear that he's, I don't know if this is the right wording, but it does appear to be that he's a much more willing blocker.
Yes.
Whether that's them just holding him in the line more and running him less into routes, or him just knowing that he's lost that step in the receiving and he's willing to sit on the line and fight in the trenches a little more, combination of whatever it is, I don't know. But like you said, Rashee Rice can play that role now. So if Kelce can block and then go out afterwards and not be that first option, you know, it, like you said, that offense is on the rise. And that's a scary kind of thing, because I agree with you. I don't think people are scared of the Chiefs like they once were. Maybe even a season ago when they were winning those close games all the time, and they seem to not be getting the ball bouncing their way this year, which I expected. Like, to get that same season that you've had the last couple of years is so rare and statistically impossible that they were bound to come back down to earth in those games, right? Those one possession close scored games. But with you saying that offense is on the rise and me agreeing, I think we do get to the point, if Rashee Rice comes back full and they stay healthy on that offensive side, and that line keeps seeming to gel like it has each week and get a little bit better, by the end of the season, people may not be scared of the Chiefs as a whole, but I bet you they'll be scared of Patrick Mahomes again.
Right. I still think the offense is going on the upward trend, and they're going to be in the playoffs. I have no concerns about the Chiefs. I am heavily concerned about the Ravens. The Ravens might put themselves in a hole they can't dig out of before the end of the season.
Last year's Cincinnati?
What's that?
Like last year's Cincinnati?
Right, yeah. Cincinnati dug themselves such a hole at the beginning when they actually started playing good football. They just couldn't make they needed Miami to lose. They needed Denver to lose. They needed everybody to lose that last game for them to get in. And at the end of the day, you just can't do that. You can't just hope for everybody else to lose so you can get in. You got to play your best football. Bengals, I know we chat a little bit. I wasn't shocked they went out and got Joe Flacco. I do think Jake Browning can play some good football, but we haven't seen him. I feel like he hasn't been the gunslinger he needs to be. He's been a little more conservative. And then when he gets pressured into being like trying to make plays, that's when the bad plays happen to him.
I think it's eye-opening for what that offensive line actually is. I think that's what it is. And if you think Joe Flacco is going to come in and look better than Jake Browning behind that line, I think you're in for a vicious nightmare.
Well, the other thing that I'm concerned about is maybe Joey B's injury is worse. He's not rehabbing to the point that they feel comfortable just having Jake Browning for the rest of the year.
Well, I mean, based on the timeline that was originally stated, the earliest he was going to come back is like the last week of the season anyways.
They were kind of talking like possible early December.
I mean, that would have been crazy because the timeline I kept hearing put it like January 1st situation. So, and that's best case scenario. That's if everything went spectacularly, 100%, no issues, no setbacks. His body hit every single mark it needed to and healed remarkably. And so I have already said basically he's out for the season. That's just how I've been looking at this situation. Based on the timelines I've heard, the likelihood of him being back to play meaningful football was very slim. Now, I understand trading for a Flacco instead of trying to get Shador off of Cleveland or going out and trying to get, Trey Lance or something like that, because you don't want a young guy to try and groom behind Joe Burrow, right?
We already know what the right answer was.
Right.
The right answer for the Bengals was Crab Daddy.
That might have been a much better solution than Flacco, in all honesty.
Because
I just don't know if the Giants are willing to move him.
I mean,
otherwise, I feel like he would have already been moved.
Unless you can move Russ, but can you move Russ?
I've seen people say they should go get Russ, and I think that's absolutely hilarious. I don't know why you would think that's a good idea. Beyond me. But with that question, I would tend to agree with you, Pinky, that we're not seeing the changing of the guard just yet. We're seeing quite a bit of injuries to some key people in really bad times.
Get rid of
Does
turf.
that change anything going forward? Potentially. If these teams that we're seeing play well, like your Indies and Jacksonville's, continue to move forward and upward, they could be in good spots next year. And they could put pressure on these teams, and we could start seeing some true movement. But when you see injuries like Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow go out, I've heard this new conversation going around. Can we make Joe Burrow the MVP? Because he's obviously the most valuable player with what's happening to Cincinnati right now. I'm like, dude, what a silly, ridiculous argument to make. Because any top contender, if they lose their starting quarterback, i.e. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, shoot, we'll even go lower. If Indy loses Daniel Jones right now, if Jacksonville loses Trevor Lawrence, okay, these teams are all done. Done. They're all done. All of them. None of them are going to have a backup come in and play to a point where they're still Super Bowl contenders, okay? So to sit here and act like, oh, the sky is falling and since he's terrible because Joe Burrow's not there. Yeah. And that's exactly why you paid him. And that's exactly why he's widely considered one of the top 4 quarterbacks in the league. Because he makes up for deficiencies other places. You can't pay other places because you paid him because of how good he is. It's the same with Josh Allen, same with Lamar Jackson, same with Patrick Mahomes. If Patrick Mahomes goes down, the Chiefs are done. What are we talking about here? Yes, Joe Burrow could have won an MVP last year based on his numbers. But his numbers weren't quite good enough to get Cincy into the playoffs, which caused him to not be in the conversation. But if Seattle loses Sam Darnold right now, they're not looking as good as they are. Minnesota is in a unique situation because they were starting basically a rookie quarterback, so they brought in a veteran that they knew could play ball. That's why Carson Wentz is there. Carson Wentz is an above-average backup quarterback in the league right now. He could come in and sling it and look MVP, and he could also look like he shouldn't be in the league anymore.
Terrible.
So, but he's played at that level. So they brought in a guy who's, I would say, better than a Joe Flacco to be in position to help that team out if it's needed. It's a different situation. These other teams who are Super Bowl contenders outside of Minnesota, hey, if the guy I said is going to be the MVP frontrunner and the winners of the North in Green Bay, if they lose Jordan Love, their season's done. And that's with, I like, my head just went blank, Pinky.
Malik Willis.
Thank you. I like Malik Willis. I think given the right situation, he could have been really good in Tennessee. They chose not to build around him, build for his skill set. He came in last year and he actually played really well for Green Bay. So maybe they could find a way to still be viable, potentially. But I would still take them off my short list if Love went out. We talked about Matthew Stafford before the season even started and how hesitant we were to pick their record the way it was, but we pick it because we assume everybody's going to be healthy. But it still caused us a lot of concern because if Matt Stafford's not in there, we did not like the Rams.
Dog shit.
So I think what we're seeing right now isn't a changing of the guard yet. I think we're seeing some teams finally get some good coaching and they're able to use the talent. I told everybody, I think Jacksonville has a lot of talent if they can put it together, and I think Indy has a lot of talent if they can put it together. I didn't have faith in Daniel Jones, and I didn't have faith in Trevor Lawrence any longer. I still don't long term. But they could change that in the next couple of weeks if they keep playing the way they are. So we'll see. But I think that's more what we're seeing right now rather than the changing of the guard. We're seeing major key injuries to the top contenders, and you're seeing now how good and valuable those players truly are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, at the end of the day, at least when we talk about offense, what's the most important part of a team?
The quarterback.
Well, in some cases, if the quarterback can't.
Oh, you want to go with our actual answer, which is the offensive line?
The offensive line. The offensive line can make Geno Smith and Sam Darnold and all these guys look really good when they have time to throw the ball. And most quarterbacks in today's game look pretty good when you have time to throw the ball. When you're under pressure, that's when the shit hits the fan. So we can't spend too long on this, but I thought you would like this, Caleb. I think we need to start talking a little bit more about this guy. Is Baker Mayfield not the coolest guy in the NFL right now?
Dude, he's the best.
I mean, I've always liked his. I never discounted him because of the swag or the personality or whatever anybody else wants to call it. I've always enjoyed that. We've talked about it on the show many a times. You want to talk trash to me? I'm going to grab my nuts and give you the finger from the other sideline. I'm going to plant my flag after I beat your ass and you're 50. Like, I'm good with all of that. I've got no issues with any of that stuff from Baker. I'm a big believer in the fine line between confidence and cocky. And cocky is when you speak without spoken to. Confidence is telling people when they ask a question. Baker's confident. You ask him something, he's going to give you an answer. And a lot of people don't like confidence. And they try to say it's cocky. But Baker doesn't just say stuff. He doesn't go out of his way to do things. There's not a diva part of him. But if you ask him a question, he's going to give you a true how I feel honest answer. And I love that. And the dude's balling out right now. People aren't going to like hearing this, but right now it's him and Dak as the MVP frontrunners, in my opinion.
Let's go, Baker.
It's probably still Baker and Josh Allen. And I think Dak is starting to get himself into the conversation. Is where I think Dak is. I don't think he's there yet. But if you want to put him in the conversation, I'd be okay with that. Gosh, I think I just had the list here. I'm going to send it to the group real quick.
Is Tampa the best team in the NFC right now?
No. The Lions are the best team in the NFC right now.
Okay.
I think the Lions are just a step above the Bucks. I think the Bucks can give a game to anybody in the NFC. And if the Bucks beat everyone, I wouldn't be shocked. I do think the Bucks are pretty damn good. But I do think the Lions, when the Lions, as we talked about, you know me, when they run that rock and they get Montgomery going and they get Gibbs going, and now the play action with Goff is working. He's got Laporta and Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams and Isaac Tislaw, whatever the heck that kid's name is. Those guys are hard to stop, man. And their defense is playing just well enough. Now they've got some injuries creeping up again on the defensive side of the ball. I think they lost Terry and Arnold.
Your mouth.
I'm just spitting facts, Robert.
I don't need you to speak ill into the world, Pinky. You don't see me talking crap about the Broncos.
Hey, no, whoa. I'm not talking crap. I just said they're the best team in the NFC.
He did.
I know. Just don't be talking about injuries. We're
Trust
not.
me,
No,
nobody
we don't
wants
wish
the
them.
Lions to be the best team in the NFC and get to the Super Bowl more than me.
I would. I want that pretty bad.
You want that so you can be like, Pinky, we're going to Santa Clara. Let's go.
Yeah.
We're not-
I don't
we're
know
not-
Yeah,
how.
Pinky, I think that's a bit of a bold statement considering the fact that there's some lifelong Lions fans who have literally sat through the shit.
Okay.
I get where you're coming
No.
from, but
I am rooting hard
just
for the
for the
Lions.
sake of Lions fans who have been there from the beginning, let's tone that down just a bit. Let's pay them a little respect.
Since I was born, Lions and Rams.
And
Look, if
Rams.
we're being honest though, like I'm not trying to be mean, but the Lions lost week 1 to the Packers, right? Then they played the Bears, the Ravens, which might have the worst defense in the league. Then the Browns, which was a good win.
Yep.
Right.
Then the Bengals,
But then they played the Bengals,
and now they play the Chiefs.
and now they're going to play so
Bro,
they haven't quite been tested outside of week 1. So let's see
Right.
what happens next week against the Chiefs, and then I think that'll be more of a true measuring stick rather than them just cakewalking through what they've done so far.
this is the Chiefs coming off a loss. This is a good measuring stick game. Faux show. So, and that is the Sunday night game as well.
Yes.
So that's a hell of a game. Let's see. I think we just got just a couple more minutes on the NFL. Robert, what stands out to you as we're finishing up the first 5 weeks?
Dude, I really hate football on turf. I'm just gonna say it.
No arguments here, man.
I really do.
I've never understood why they just don't do grass.
Because the NFL owners are cheap, Pinky. We've been trying to bring
And-
this to the spotlight for the last couple of years now.
And
Comparatively to the sports landscape in America, NFLs are probably the cheapest and least wealthy owners of all of North American sports.
I think most of them are wealthier than the MLB owners.
I don't think so. I don't think so anymore.
We might have to do the research on that. I
think there's a
NFL
couple
owners-
high ends that are kind of boosting everybody else up, and I think we might need to dig into it a little bit deeper. But they're not quite what people make them out to be. Is how I feel about this now.
it's wild, especially since all of the NFL stadiums that are being used in the World Cup are getting grass. Like,
Only way they were allowed to host games.
just saying. But
I wouldn't be surprised if that comes up at the next collective bargaining.
I hope so. Outside of that, like I really just don't enjoy that. I wish the European games were actually, good teams to watch. That I also wish. It really is like one of those like I get what Caleb's saying, like it takes one away from the home fans, but what it also takes away is from NFL fans, like they just want to see a good game. Like, could you imagine if we had the Lions Chiefs game over in Europe, like, or something like that level, like that would be worth getting up for and watching.
I feel like the games have been a lot better as the years have gone on.
These years have been pretty bad.
They've been better, but they're still not. They've been sending over higher profile teams, but then like Pittsburgh played Minnesota. Those are two high profile teams, or at least teams with legacy. Then you had the Vikings and the Browns.
The Vikings were there for 2 weekends.
Well,
Like,
that was the first time that's ever been done.
Home and away is technically what it was.
Well, the bonus there, no, it was both away.
They were both considered away games?
Yeah, that was why the NFL, they volunteered for that, so they didn't have to go to Pittsburgh and they didn't have to go to Cleveland.
Weird.
So they volunteered for that, which again, I think it makes sense. You're
And-
already there. Your clock's already Like,
And
they're
correct me if I'm wrong. I guess I haven't paid that close attention to it in this aspect, but I think they play on grass over there.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's actually a separate issue on and of itself, actually, though, Robert, because the turf used for football and soccer is not the same level of turf that you would use for American football.
No,
It
not.
is completely different turfs.
Yeah.
And so that has actually been an issue over there as well. More sliding, slipping, tearing up the grass, and they've had to then go back and replace it for the actual soccer games. So it's a tough, fine line that they're playing right now. I think they're starting to get a better handle on it. But the more this gets pushed, and like Roger Goodell says, he wants to see 18 games. He wants to see a full season's worth of games overseas. So, and I say 18 because if you don't think 18 is coming in the next year or two,
18's coming.
Yeah. So, which though I like, honestly,
There needs
as
to
a
be
fan,
2 bye weeks then.
Yeah, as a fan, I think it's actually perfect. Like, I think when you're looking at things around the sports landscape that I think are like perfect, the NCAA March Madness basketball tournament, it's perfect right now. Nobody counts the 68, right? We still think of it as 64. 64 is perfect. It's perfectly set up.
Right.
I think an 18-game NFL schedule would be perfect. And I know some people say it's too long. Players aren't thrilled about it. 2 bye weeks, I think, is brilliant to help with injuries and things. The season then would end on President's Day weekend, right? So then everybody gets Monday off.
Right.
There was another benefit. Oh, only 2 preseason games. So you cut the preseason down. You do more joint practices
I would also,
for training camp.
I would also get rid of the practice squad. Just make them active players. Like you can
I've never understood why why they limit to such a small group on, especially game day rosters are what, 54 right now, 53. It's stupid though. The amount of money that they're bringing in, if they want a better product and they don't want to have to worry about the injuries causing issues, the obvious easy solution is to increase the rosters.
Well, and that's why they've changed a lot of their rules now. Because you can keep a guy in the practice squad, but call him up for game day. But you can only do that so many times before you have to put him on the active roster. Let's just put them all on the active roster. Everybody's got a 70-man roster.
Yeah.
So you might carry more O linemen. You might carry more D linemen.
Do 80 for all I care. And here's the deal. You save money. They're still paying the practice squad guys.
Right. They're just
those practice squad guys, I think last time I checked, made roughly 60 to 70 grand a year.
They're making $4,000 a week, most of them, and not including their, like, some of them are getting a decent
so
bonus.
They're making a livable wage. You could just pay those bottom end guys still the same thing. Do you want to be in the NFL or not and try to earn your spot? Those guys aren't going to turn those contracts down.
The problem is at this point there is still like a minimum.
Well, I know you'd have to. The collective bargaining would have to work through that rules and regulations and the pay scales and things of that nature. And yes, they're probably going to get bumped more than what they make on the practice squad. But I do like the idea, Pinky. I have given it some thought myself, so we're on the same page there for sure.
All right, before we move on to college football, cheers to the Broncos. They won a game that in the past they would not have won. Crazy stat: the Broncos, trailing by 14 points in the fourth quarter of a road game, were 1-112.
Ooh.
They're now 2-112 in games where they've trailed by 14 points in the fourth quarter. So, things did not go great for 3 quarters, and somehow the team found a way to win. And you know what that starts to mean? That's a pretty good football team. Good
find ways to win. It helps.
Good football teams find a way to win when they haven't played their best football. So, cheers to that. I'm excited for London. I guess I'm having people over at 7:30 at my house for Bloody Marys and mimosas.
I was just joking, but I mean, hey, if you're serious, I'm game.
Huh.
So you're welcome to come, Caleb, if you want to.
You don't say. It's an interesting thought.
All right, we're going to close that. Let's close that. And then
I only did it for F1. It's only fair if he does it for NFL.
I mean, yeah, F1 was great. F1 was great. All right, let's switch gears now, and let's talk about some college football. Woo!
And that's one, baby.
What's one? What's going on?
Caleb can't hear you.
Oh, now I get it. Now I get it.
Caleb, so glad you could join us.
Yeah, things happen, you know. It doesn't want to grab it. There we go. Let's see if that works. That is where I want to start, Pinky. I've been pounding the table since I was a little guy. I've never understood it. The preseason polls are a joke. They always have been. They're absolutely ridiculous. They're there for conversation starters, TV ratings to try and get people into viewership, I guess. I think it's dumb. There is zero reason, especially now. Once the BCS started, it should have been antiquated and gone. But especially now, the preseason polls should be non-existent. They should be abolished. There should be zero conversation around them. The first poll that gets released should be the first time we get the college football playoff rankings. And that should be the first poll that's released. There's no reason to have polls outside of that otherwise. You want to know why? Preseason top 10 teams. Week 7. Texas, preseason number 1, unranked. Penn State, preseason number 2, unranked. Ohio State, 3-1. Clemson, number 4, unranked. Georgia was number 5. They're now number 10. Notre Dame was number 6. They're now number 16. And the fact that they're still ranked is a gift. Okay? Oregon went from 7 to 3. They moved up. Alabama started at 8. They're still at 8. LSU went from 9 to 11. LSU's getting a bit of a gift being that high as well. They've looked awful. Miami went from 10 to 2. So, yes, some teams have moved up. Some teams weren't ranked. None of them were ranked properly. And
Except Alabama.
3, except Alabama. Good call, Robert. Except Alabama. 3 of the top 10 are no longer ranked in the top 25 of the AP poll. This is a joke. The other problem it creates, Pinky, is not just teams ranked too high that are now really low. It's teams that weren't even ranked at all that might be playing really well that should be getting a lot of credit and aren't. Because they weren't ranked to start the season. So now people are looking at them with a side eye. Like, oh, well, yeah, that's your record, but you're not actually that good. Oh, you haven't played anybody. Oh, there's always an excuse. So it takes a miracle to even get into the top 25. And then it takes another miracle to even be considered in the top 12. Doesn't matter what your record is. It doesn't matter what your strength of schedule is. It doesn't matter all those other metrics. People use this weird eye test. And then you hear things like that chick a couple weeks back who had the most ridiculous rankings I've ever seen in my life. And she was unwilling to talk about her process and then said it doesn't matter anyways because other people will rank them, so mine won't actually matter in the long run.
Justification.
Like she made it a joke. So why people still allow this top 25 to be a thing when it's not the official college football playoff top 25 is baffling to me.
Yeah. All I know, boys.
They're looking good. They're looking good, but in your own words, you got to hope Carson Beck doesn't turn into a pumpkin.
Right. No. Totally true. Totally true. The defense is playing good, though. They're playing pretty good football. I was just happy because I had a couple Florida State fans at work giving me grief last week. And trust me, the first thing I did when I saw them was throw up the U, baby. Throw up the U.
Well done, Piggy.
And I started looking at Miami's schedule, and I was like, holy crap. If they beat Florida State, they're in good position.
Not a lot going on in that ACC right now.
So they're in good position to get themselves a spot in the playoffs. and then anything can happen, right?
It's true. I'll give you that.
So when do we? At what point in the season do we start talking about Arch Manning being a complete bust?
Well, so that's where I want to move next, actually, and then I've got one more topic for college football.
I read his mind.
I like it. One more topic for college football after that I want to touch on, and it's going to come off a little biased, but you know what? There's no other way to bring it up without it sounding biased, so we'll just get there. As far as Arch Manning goes, Pinky, first off, I said this on the socials the other day, and I fully believe it, but I'll say it out loud in front of the camera so people can see how I truly feel. I could not be more ecstatic about being completely wrong about Texas this year. Thinking they were just going to run through and just put one of those immaculate seasons together and all-time great. I was terribly wrong about that. Woo! Yeah, Robert, thank you. Let's do that all day, baby. I'm down. Couldn't be more thrilled about being terribly wrong about a prediction. I don't think Arch is bad, though. I've seen enough flashes from him still where I'm like, damn, that kid's got talent. I still think he should have been playing over Quinn Ewers last year, based on what I saw simply from Quinn Ewers. It would have put Texas in a better position this year, like I kept saying last year. I think the biggest problem that everybody underestimated was the amount of talent that left Texas that Sark did not replace or coach up or whatever you want to talk about. This is a very, very much so weaker team than what it had last year.
So can you name me who their leading rusher was this last week?
Arch Manning.
Arch Manning. Their running back, I don't even know if it's their starting running back, had 8 carries for 11 yards.
Jeez, that's bad.
Miami just played Florida last week, and Miami ran the ball all over them. So, like, is the O-line and the running backs and everybody just pedestrian? I start to think that maybe, I mean, sometimes the quarterback is the problem. But sometimes, especially in college football, like, if there's nothing around you, there's not a whole lot you can do, especially when you're playing, pretty good football teams every week. Florida's not great, but I wouldn't say they're like dog shit either.
No.
There's talented guys on that team.
Exactly. And in Texas's defense, their 2 losses are in the swamp and in the horseshoe. And they didn't get blown out in either game. So it's not exactly the sky is falling like people are making it out to be, but I think it is showing you that the talent level on this team is inferior to what it was last year. Bullshit.
Man, there was a game this last weekend that Robert was really hyped up about. What happened in that game?
Shut up, Pinky.
Yeah, that's
I didn't watch it, so I don't know.
Heard some things. Had some people reach out and say you might need to talk to your boy. He's not being too kind without you in the house, and
it hurt.
We'll just let it go. We'll just let it go this time. We'll let it pass. Got a little bit of a big head. Got back down to earth a little bit.
It's okay. Michigan State is always a better basketball team, so I've got that to look forward to.
I'm a North Carolina fan because Nebraska doesn't have a basketball team.
I feel like you just have to go something with N in it.
I've got 2 separate teams as well. Caleb and
I mean, my best friend when I was a little kid was a North Carolina fan. I honestly thought Nebraska only had football. So I was like, hey, I got to get a basketball team.
Yeah, they pretty much only have football, Caleb. Roll with that.
I should have gone Creighton if I had known anything of anything, but it didn't process early enough. So unfortunate. Last topic, Pinky. And this is, good segue. why is it that certain guys, no matter what kind of stats they put up, do not get mentioned in the upper echelon of talent at certain positions? And the example I will use is Dylan Raiola right now getting zero recognition, not just nationally as one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, I believe, but he's not even getting recognized in the Big Ten as one of the best quarterbacks in the conference. And the numbers would say otherwise, quite drastically, actually. And I'm curious as to your take. It's not like Nebraska's awful this year. So if that was the case, if they were 1-4 or, whatever that might be, 2-3, looking bad, I would understand. But they haven't looked terrible. And I'm trying to pull up the numbers here real quick, just to give everybody an idea.
We don't have a long time for this
spewing
topic.
Nonsense. Here, real quick. 25 FBS quarterbacks have thrown for 1,000 yards. 14 quarterbacks have thrown for 10-plus touchdowns. 5 have thrown 100 or more completions. And only one has done all of that with a 75% completion percentage. And that's Dylan Raiola. So this isn't, I'm not trying to hype up my Huskers. I'm trying to ask a legit, as much as possible, objective question of why I'm seeing what I think is a guy playing really good ball and then putting up the numbers to back it, not being discussed at all. And this isn't just a Raiola thing. This is we see this happen every year, right? And I'm trying to figure out why. Why does that happen? Why does the recognition get downplayed or pushed aside like it's not even there?
Do you want the honest answer?
It's Nebraska.
They're just not on the tip of the national landscape. So you're not wrong.
Illinois is getting talked about nationally.
Yeah, but they're ranked and they've played some pretty good competition, and he's played well in those games. And the marquee game against Michigan, he just didn't play amazing. The rest of the games on the schedule right now, you beat Cincinnati by 3. He wasn't amazing. Nebraska, he was against Akron. He was great. That's Akron. HCU, he was good in that game, as he should be. They won 59-7. And then they beat Michigan State. They lost to Michigan. To get to that point where now
he had a 70% completion percentage, 3 touchdowns and 300 yards against Michigan.
Dude, how many Hawaii quarterbacks had those stats for the longest time? But it was Hawaii, and it was against other guys in the MAC or the Mountain West. He needs to have a big game against the top opponent to where you guys get back into the national spotlight. He can keep putting up these numbers, and it's not going to matter because people aren't going to think of him in that way that they're thinking about some of these other quarterbacks, because he's at Nebraska. He's not at Georgia. He's not at Bama. And he might technically be playing better. He could be like Shedeur Sanders last year, where he said if you pick Dylan Raiola up and you put him on another squad, he's the best quarterback in the nation. That could absolutely be true. And I wouldn't even I don't even think I'd put an argument against it. He might be, when you talk about putting him on a team with a lot more talent, better play caller, better O-line, better running backs to support him. He could be the best quarterback in the nation overall. But at the moment, he's at Nebraska. They're not getting the national spotlight. And at this point, they haven't played a team to where, again, the Michigan game is the only team really measuring stick game. And he was okay, but not good enough to get the win for him. He needs that signature win where he balls out and looks amazing. And now we'll start having that conversation about him being in the top quarterbacks. I think
fair.
That would be absolutely true.
Don't hate that at all, Pinky. Now, while I agree with you, I'm going to devil advocate the point you just made and throw a wrench into it. Are you familiar with Mr. Chambliss? from Ole Miss.
No.
Transferred from Division II after winning the national championship and the equivalent of the Heisman last year. Was the backup at Ole Miss to start the season. Starter did not play well. This man has come in and now moved Ole Miss to the number 4 team in the country. He has thrown for 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, 64% completion percentage. Why are we not talking about this guy? Why is this guy not being talked about? This is the number 4 team in the country. Won the equivalent of the Heisman for Division II last year. So there is some hardware behind his talent, if you will. And now he's leading a team and playing really good ball at the Division I level. I'm confused why we keep harping on this guy from Penn State or this guy from Clemson or this guy from LSU. When I said last year these guys aren't the best, this year they're not playing the best, and people are still rating them as such when there's dudes at the position across the country playing far better football.
I think you would have a good time having lunch or dinner with like Joel Klatt, because he would probably totally agree with you. Why are we not talking about these guys? He'll bring up a lot of those conversations. He does a great job at that.
He does. I do enjoy some Joel Klatt.
It's Ole Miss. And Ole Miss is not typically in the national spotlight, and that's why you're not hearing it. If you picked him up and you put him on USC and USC was undefeated and ranked 4th in the country, he'd be the hottest thing there is. He's at Ole Miss. That's the end of it.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. So, PSA to everybody out there. There's a lot of talent across the country. I highly recommend you go watch and check it out. And if you're confused on why we're saying some of these is talent, hit us up. I'll let you know exactly what I'm watching that's giving me this eye test that I believe these guys are really good. And I'll say, go watch this. Go look for this. Go pay attention to that. Come back and report.
All right. We got to do some quick hitters. Major League Baseball playoffs. I really don't know where everybody stands right now.
I got you. I was just pulling this back
The Tigers
up here.
forgot to show up tonight.
Tigers did not show up tonight, unfortunately. Seattle takes a 2-1 lead in that series.
PSA, Pinky hates baseball because of this 3-5 bullshit.
I can't stand it either. 3-5, then 7-7. I'm not a fan either.
I was talking to a Dodgers fan today, good guy, and I was like, man, I really hate this format. And he was like, well, Pinky, the one thing about it, if they played 7 games, we're playing till November.
December.
And it's cold. And I was like, well, then maybe we should shorten up the regular season then.
This is, for me, my favorite argument for why we should, if you're going to have this many teams in the playoffs now, which I like, season should go from the 162 down to 140-ish, and you basically start the playoffs at the beginning of September.
Just cut out 20 games, 142.
Exactly. That might I'd have to look at where it lines up because you got to have the weeks. It's not just the date. You really need those weeks, Robert, to be able to play a 7-game series. But that would probably work pretty close if I had to guess. That would probably work pretty close. So it would be nice if you did 7-7-7. That would be good.
I just don't think you get the best team when you only play best of 3 and then best of 5.
I'm 50-50 with this, Pinky. I don't disagree with you, but at the same time, one of the reasons I don't hate it, and again, this is me maybe in baseball people not getting along again, but baseball does 3-game series. That's like what you do all year. You go somewhere, you play 3 games, you go somewhere else, you play 3 games. Like that's kind of the common. Sometimes you'll play 2, sometimes you'll do, you know what I mean? But
4.
It's like, here's a 3-game series, and then you talk about they won the series. They 2-1.
But
blah, 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 blah. Moving on. You do that all year. You're a really good team. So I don't hate it for that aspect. So while I agree with you, it should be 7. I don't hate it because it still lines up with what baseball does throughout the year.
But during the regular season, when you lose that one series, you still got 30 more to go.
Don't disagree with you there either. Again, not disagreeing with you, my guy. It's like I said, I'm very much 50-50 on this one. Yankees are up 7-6, bottom 5. They are down 2-0. So if they lose tonight, they're out. On the other side, LA is up 2-0 on Philly. They play game 3 tomorrow. And Chicago and Milwaukee. Milwaukee is up 2-0 after winning game 2 last night. So we could see the NL be done after tomorrow, potentially. Seattle and Detroit will play again tomorrow night, and so will the Yankees and the Blue Jays. So we could see both of those series end, or we could see them extended. That'll be interesting to keep an eye on for sure as well. The Seattle, Detroit, and the Yankees Blue Jays series are insanely interesting for a couple different reasons. Detroit, Seattle. Detroit was the best team and the hottest team to start the season. And then they had one of the most epic collapses in baseball history. And I think it was a 15-game lead after All-Star break that they blew to lose the division and almost missed the playoffs entirely. Seattle was a team a lot of people weren't really expecting to do much except for this guy, because I did call that at the beginning of the season. Just keep that in mind. But they came out swinging. They won a division that a lot of people said that was Houston's or Texas's to lose.
Right.
And Seattle came out and smoked that. So that's very interesting for that reason. Looking at, arguably the two best teams in the AL at the start of the season and then at the end of the season. Yankees and Blue Jays are interesting because this is in division. This is AL East. Yankees had this division up until, I think it was the end of July. And then they had some injuries and some other things hit. And then the Blue Jays took it over and never looked back. The Blue Jays also, I think it was like 6-1 this year or something stupid like that with the Yankees. They only lost one game to the Yankees the whole season, I think it was. So this is the Yankees trying to get right against a team that just owned them all season in so many different ways. So that's why that one's very interesting. I will say LA and Philly, those are what many people believe were the two best teams in the league, in the National League to start the season. Many people thought that should be the NL championship. Them playing here is just the way everything worked out based on division winners.
Well, they didn't expect the Brewers to come out and just smoke this season,
Well, the problem really was LA falling flat a little bit and allowing San Diego to win the division, which then caused LA to be a wild card rather than division winner, which then put them and Philly on the same side of the bracket rather than opposite sides of the bracket. So that's interesting, but Philly looks like they already went golfing. Like they've already gone fishing, they've already gone home. It looks like there was a little bit of the fight at the
Dodgers
end of
won that
last night's
division,
game.
bro.
Huh?
Dodgers won that division.
San Diego won the division, I thought.
Dodgers won the division. They were ranked 3rd. Padres were 5th.
Did Philly?
Philly won the East, yes. But the Dodgers won the West.
I could have sworn San Diego won that division.
Dodgers
Either way, it
West.
doesn't matter. They ended up on the same side of the brackets, and it messed things up. Chicago, Milwaukee, same division again. NL Central. Very familiar with each other, played each other a lot throughout the season. Milwaukee is the Cinderella of these playoffs. They're the team that really nobody even had in the playoffs. Didn't have the talent, a lot of skeptics, and they just keep winning. So it's going to be interesting to see where that all shakes out. Right now, the Jays look like the team that are going to win that series against the Yankees because the Yankees just can't figure it out. And then it's a crapshoot from there. Detroit, Seattle, Blue Jays, any of them could go. If LA doesn't come out of the NL, I will be very surprised. There is so much talent from top to bottom with the bats, from top to bottom with the arms. For them to not get back to the World Series would be an epic disaster. So we'll see what happens there.
We'll see what happens.
Finally, for sports, Pinky, take it.
All right, NHL season started tonight.
Let's go, Red Wings!
You know where our loyalties lie. The Avalanche. It's all about goaltending this year. They should be pretty good, though. Landeskog is playing his first regular season game tonight. since 2022.
El
So-
Capitan.
Things could be looking up. We got some tough things. I did talk to Cody. He mentioned Penguins are done. Their top 3 guys are over the hill and should be traded. Panthers aren't repeating based on Barkov has a knee injury. He thinks the Kings have done really well. He thinks it's if you get a chance, go see Ovechkin this year. It's his retirement tour. Go see Ovechkin. He did mention January 19th. They come here to Denver. Maybe something to go check out. He
I need
did
to purchase some
mention
tickets early for that one.
Yeah, McDavid only signed a 2-year contract.
He gave them a gift. You think Brady took some deals for the Patriots? McDavid just I don't even know how to fully describe it, but what he did for that organization and the Oilers is going to cause a ripple effect for a lot of other franchises and superstars trying to get paid, because he took a serious pay cut to stick with them and try to win a championship and put talent around him.
He has 4 teams that can at least surprise what people think they might be, and it's the Islanders, the Sabres, the Ducks, and the Utah. Did they pick a name? Are they the Mammoths?
What did they go with?
Are they even on this graphic? This might be an old graphic because I don't think they're on here.
That is an old graphic.
So, Robert, what's the Utah hockey squad?
They couldn't get Yetis.
I think it's the Mammoth.
I think it's the Mammoth too, because I was upset that they were taking the Denver indoor lacrosse team name.
The Utah Mammoths.
Yeah.
Mammoths. All right.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, go Avs, baby. Go Avs.
Go Avs, go. We don't hide our fandom. We're openly willing to talk about it.
Go Wings.
Absolutely.
Go
F1
Wings.
happened this last weekend.
Singapore, baby. Mercedes is back in form. Well, kind of. I'll be happy with 4th and 5th with Kimi. I'll be even more happy when he hits a podium again. But overall, happy with that. Lando Norris finally making Oscar reveal his true colors.
Wait, before we get into that, I want to go back to Mercedes real quick.
Okay, what you got?
I found something that Russell said in the post-race presser, very interesting.
What you got?
And he basically said, and I'm very much putting words in his mouth kind of right now and paraphrasing, but the gist of what I got was he was very surprised that Q3 turned out the way it did, and all of a sudden he went from not feeling good about the car and the situation to everything coming together out of nowhere, qualifying one, winning the race, and now he is perplexed on how they do it again, because he's not sure how they got there this time. And so he basically said they need to go back and look at it and see what all of a sudden came together and try to figure out where that pinpoint is so that they can then
build a car,
continue to replicate that the rest of the season. And I found that very interesting from him and Mercedes.
No, absolutely, especially since he broke his own curse for like the last 4 or 5 races where it's been did not finish, disqualified, did not finish, whatever. So it's great to finally see that happen. So super thrilled for Mercedes this weekend. It was a good weekend. For McLaren.
Now go into
for McLaren. On the other hand, Lando Norris definitely showed some kryptonite or something, and Oscar Piastri, really showed some true colors this weekend, and it is absolute. And Caleb, you and I called it early. He's given this pretty boy look out, but he's not a team player, and you could see it there this weekend. After Norris was really pushed into him, and then they were like, well, Piastri comes on the radio. Well, that wasn't very team-like. He had nowhere else to go, man. Like it wasn't intentional. It wasn't anything else other than that. And that's why the stewards didn't rule it anything other than a racing incident. So it's time to put on your big boy pants and move on. You're not going to be gifted everything. I mean, again, some things happen for Lando. Some things happen for you. Just is what it is. But this was ridiculous, dude. And especially to disconnect from your principal in mid congratulations of winning the Constructors Cup, absolutely diabolical.
Yeah, another moment where he looks like a petulant child, unfortunately, for Piastri. Regardless of how you feel about the race and the situation with Norris and that incident, if you're a team guy, you're going to be ecstatic and celebrate. And then after the fact, you'll go behind closed doors and have those conversations after you party.
100%.
Because everybody knows that those conversations are going to be had. Nobody's going to shy away from them in these situations. You're still racing for the championship for the drivers. Everybody's fully aware of that. They know. Compartmentalize, celebrate, and then go have the discussions.
Don't act like
he
a
chose
spoiled
not to
brat.
do that. He's shown that a couple times now. The Hulkenberg incident is always going to be the one that sticks out to me the most with the trophy comment. I was more surprised by the fact that we saw Lando stick his nose into a situation where in the past it looked like he was unwilling to go. You've heard him talk about before, I'm going to win as the nice guy racer kind of thing. I'm not going to make attempts that could put us in bad situations or could cause penalties. Like that was kind of his MO, if you will. And as soon as I saw that, my first instinct was, that's a mindset change. That's somebody who's willing to now go race for the championship. And it put, in my opinion, Oscar on notice saying, hey, man, like, we're teammates. I'm not going to try to do anything dirty, but I am going to push the envelope, if you will, and try to get everything out of my car I possibly can now, rather than maybe not do something that I would have backed away from at the beginning of the year. And so now that's something Oscar's going to have to take into consideration. I think McLaren, though, is in a lose-lose situation now at this point. With the Constructors' Cup wrapped up this early,
6 races to go.
There is zero reason for team participation now. There is all reasons for every driver for himself situations now. And I am very interested to see what happens next week in Austin, because is it not a sprint race too in Austin? Is Austin one of the sprint races?
It should
double
be.
points on.
What's the point difference between Lando and Piastri?
Bear with me. I'll pull it up while we're doing that.
Already got it.
Okay. Because there's 3 sprint races coming up to end the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought Austin was one of them. But either way, even if it's not, my point being, there's a lot of points coming up here. A lot. And McLaren is
yes,
so
the next
dominant.
one is on Saturday in Austin.
Okay, so there it is. Yeah. So the reason I thought that was so important is because coming out of that situation, Lando getting closer in points, and Robert will pull up that point spread right now.
It is 22 points.
22.
Piastri has 336. Norris has 314. Max has 273.
So with the sprint race, that's a chance for points, and then the race itself. I don't think you're going to see McLaren sharing information like they have been anymore. And so I'm going to be very interested to see if one of these drivers in cars separates itself ever so slightly in practice and qualifying. And if that happens, do we see it repeated then as the season ends? Or does the team come together and say, no, we're still going to race clean. We're still going to be a team. We're still going to share everything. This gap is going to be minimized again. And you guys are going to be that tight in competition the rest of the way. That's where I'm very interested to see how this gets handled now with McLaren.
It'll be an interesting 6 races. I'm excited for the 17th, or I should say the 19th actually, because it'll be on Sunday, which is at 1. So that'll be an interesting thing to figure out with watching football. So
TV laptop.
Yeah. Something.
TV, iPad. TV, iPad, phone.
So
I now have split view with Xfinity, so I can throw 4
there you
games
go.
or 4 things onto the TV and then use my iPad and then my phone for something else. I'm rolling right now, baby.
I will not.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different screens just here in my little tiny room, so I've got options.
I'll miss that race since I'll be at the Broncos game. So.
Lame.
Respectfully lame.
Yeah, respectfully lame.
Yeah, eat a dick, Robert.
This is the world's smallest violin playing "My Heart Bleeds for You," Pinky.
Eat a dick, Robert. All right.
Oh goodness.
Um.
So yeah, that's the big F1 news right now. It really nothing else matters in my opinion. There's a lot of other really cool storylines that I'll be following, but the only thing that really matters now is how McLaren's going to handle this championship race. And I don't know if Max is still eligible to potentially throw a wrench.
I don't know.
Weekend. I didn't do the math.
Yeah.
But if he is, even more fun to see how this unfolds between those three. Because it really is those three. And Max put a wrench in the plans this last weekend. And Russell obviously did as well a little bit with the win. But Max is, since the break, has been back to form. And he could easily play a very vital role in who wins this championship, whether it's Oscar or Orlando. And Max could decide on the last race. It could come down to the last race, and Max could.
He still has a chance. He still has a chance.
Okay, so it's very interesting, and especially with the 3 sprint races coming up and those extra points on the line. That's what's going to be fun to watch these next 6 weeks.
Yeah, so he needs to catch at least 7 points per race, and Lando 10.5 points a race.
Okay.
So, yeah, with 6 races, 3 sprints remaining, it's mathematically it is possible.
Which is
realistically
cool. Not high, but hey,
that's what goats are made of.
Fact. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give to you the Spoiler King, Robert.
Spoiler alert. Man, this episode was just this is probably the best episode of the season. Unless the finale that's an hour long is gonna really put it to bed. That whole segment between the dad and the brother and just kind of opening up and kind of getting a peek behind the curtain of how this Peacemaker was and how bad he really was, and that his dad really wasn't a white supremacist in this universe and that he doesn't agree with it right before, Vigilante bursts through and just stabs him to death. Like there's so many different things that just came together in this episode that just made it so good, and opened up so many doors, no pun intended, to so many other things. So it really is just a matter of time before these universes converge and something even crazier is going to happen.
Yeah, that's saying it very lightly.
James Gunn knows what he is doing, and I'm for it.
That's a fact right now. With what's happening with this series, he is killing it. And when he says he's not bringing something to production until he has a script he likes, if this doesn't prove that for you, I don't know what will, because oh my lord,
my goodness. Yeah, I can't believe it. I'm really enjoying this, and all of a sudden you see, Chris leaving, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't notice this," and it's a mural of Hitler.
Dude, yeah,
come on, man.
The amount of things he's like,
this
there's a Mein Kampf on every desk. I don't read,
right? So good.
The implications. And I kind of talked about this without knowing anything, just talking out of my ass with my own theories. And Robert kind of knew way better than I did that this was going to Universe X. But I had this weird feeling that Dad was not going to be the evil bad guy or something like that was going to cause an issue. I'm actually surprised I was kind of right on that, but I actually love that because what it means for Peacemaker, it is something that I had thought about a lot and didn't know how to really say or express to you guys. And when he said, I'm the angel of death, everything around me, I'm the issue, it was like, oh my God, there it is. That is the summation of it. And him seeing that wash over him and the realization of that and being willing to basically just go back and just say it's done. Like, the only way I save the people around me is to remove me. If I'm miserable, it probably means everybody else around me is going to be good. And that's the only way I can care for the people around me now. Vigilante killed his dad twice. He killed his brother. I mean, he killed himself, killed his brother, and now his brother wants to kill him.
And he killed his dad.
Peacemaker killed his dad.
I thought Vigilante killed him.
Well, in season 1, Peacemaker killed his dad.
Shot him right in between the eyes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then in season 2, yes, he kills Earth 2.
I was thinking like, oh, it's the same thing, Vigilante.
No.
I forgot he shot his dad. My bad.
Yeah.
Either way, you're getting this now repetitive story, if you will, where he's forced to make choices that he thinks are the right choices, and it causes him serious loss and pain. And then when he thinks he's making the right choices, it turns out to not be the right choices, and then it causes him serious loss and pain. And the spider web that weaves now for story potential and his friends and the storyline and where they can go from here is like absolutely mind-boggling insane.
I'm loving this.
Peacemaker. I mean, for the entire DC universe. General.
Yeah, this opens up so many doors. And again, James Gunn has gone on record saying that the end of this leads right into what we'll get for Man of Tomorrow. So we'll see where this goes. So I'm looking forward to it.
Isn't the next movie Supergirl?
Yes, but Peacemaker is setting up the next Superman movie. We already got the setup for Supergirl at the end of Superman. That's gonna.
Yeah, we're going completely.
We're gonna tell a different side of it. We're going like Guardians of the Galaxy type situation.
Supergirl's gonna be like Guardians of the Galaxy, going something completely different that does not tie in at all right now by all looks, and then we'll eventually
converge, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet. So again, 10 out of 10 season. I'm loving this. So, I can't wait for the finale on Thursday.
You know what I really enjoyed about this episode?
What you got, Pink?
There were points that we had all the characters together. That's been the one thing about this season.
True.
That Economos has only been interacting with like one person. Adebayo's been interacting with we haven't had the whole group
outside of
together.
their.
Well, we did have the
party rooftop barbecue.
I was about to say we had the barbecue, but that was it.
So I think that's one of the been a great season. But that's been one of the things I'm like, man, we didn't get the group together for most of the season.
But that's also kind of the driving point of the story, though. Is
right.
It's what led to such great character development this season.
It doesn't take away from how good the season is. It's just one of those things that I'm like, that's what was really great about season 1.
Sure.
And then in this case, season 2, the one thing I've really missed about season 2 is I really like Vigilante, and he hasn't been a very prominent character until the most recent episodes. So
Economos one-liners this last episode were just so epic. That
guy has no spine, that's for sure.
Oh, but it's so funny the way he goes about doing it. Like, tries to have a spine and then he's like, no, he's lying. Oh, how do you know?
My favorite line from this episode was Judo Master. That's the most people I've killed in a pool with electric wires.
Cable, yeah, that was classic.
And
how many have you killed? 4?
You've killed people with electricity in a pool before? 4.
Dude, Dude, Judo
he had a
Master
couple
is,
good
is
ones
so
too when they're in the
great.
house and they're like Scrabble and
Which I enjoyed that a lot because then we got to see a little bit of more of Judo Master, more than like the little guy who just fights.
yeah, but
like
also again, cool character development. He's coming with the Sixth Street Gang, right? That's what they call themselves.
11th Street.
11th Street. Can never remember the damn number for some reason. You can see where he's going to be coming over to their side soon, I think. Having that conversation and realizing things aren't what they seem on both sides, I think is going to draw them to find common ground and eventually friendship, just like the whole 11th Street Gang did.
So
It's the
I will
11th
say-
Street Kids. The 11th Street Kids.
Whatever.
No, it matters.
It
11th
matters.
Street Sassafras Pants are doing work, okay?
11th
Look.
Street Kids, Caleb, get it right.
I will say, watching this weekly with you guys and talking about it makes me go, okay, now after this, we need to find the next show to do that.
Yeah! Let's go! Love this. I'm out of
Yeah.
one, but
We'll have
cheers.
to find another one. Have to find another one. Keep it rolling.
I'll be on the lookout.
So this, oh man, I love John Cena, as we all know. He's doing so good in this.
You don't say.
I don't say. He's doing so good in this. James Gunn has definitely pulled the best. When his brother is getting killed or stabbed, his reaction, you could feel that pain. You can feel that, wait a minute, I don't want my brother to die again. Like, you could feel
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
That was-
Yelled, yeah.
In that
That was a
moment, I was
curling
like, oh my
scream.
God. Like, it was very impactful, the way they did that. And then again, hardcore trying to kill him. I can't have you coming after him, but then not killing him. That's going to come back.
Oh, yeah.
Like, somehow, some way, that's coming back.
So true. So true. And ladies and gentlemen, just like John Cena, you can't see Pinky. So moving on to Tron.
Yeah!
I cannot wait to hear what Robert
But
has
that
to
man,
say.
that man has our graphics. Bring him back. Wait. So first off, I just want to point out how freaking dope this shirt is. Like 9 Inch Nails with the identity disc on the back. I'm so hyped. Like Tron themed shirt. This is one of my favorite series. I can't wait. And to have it finally, the 9 Inch Nails score with the movie, I'm ecstatic. I've got tickets already for Friday and Saturday. Probably another time with Pinky. We'll have to figure out which day still. But I'm hyped. This has been on my watch list for a while, so I don't know if it'll be the movie of the year, but
Why don't we do Thursday at 8:30?
let's talk about that off air. We'll come back to that. So I'm really stoked. I've already been rewatching the movies. I know it's set in the future and doesn't really tie into much, but nostalgia is great. It's just as long as Fantastic Four Pinky, so I'm hoping to get some good stuff out of it.
That's still, what is that, an hour and 15?
It's exactly 2 hours. Tron is exactly 2 hours.
I mean, that's doable.
So, the marketing for this has been phenomenal between all of the major sports networks and changing the ride around and doing different things. I think it's been on par with a lot of different elements. So I really hope it's gonna be a great film, and really do wonders. Maybe we'll get more Tron movies out of it. One can only hope. So, but I'm stoked. This is like my last probably big movie of the year. There'll be some others that we go see, I'm sure, but this is like my last big blockbuster movie for 2025, and I'm
Robert,
ready
how
for...
would you feel if Disney decided, off the success of this movie, if that happened, to then go full universe and start doing some TV shows?
I would be thrilled with it. They tried it. Tron Legacy didn't do great. They tried to do an animated called Tron Uprising. It just didn't hit for whatever reason.
Timing. I think both of them were
it-
timing issues.
They really, I mean, and Legacy is a cult classic to a lot of people. Like
Really
it
good.
really, it is phenomenal. I mean, the video game that even came out with it is still one of my favorite games to this day that I've played and gone through entirely. And I've played countless video games. So I really hope that this opens up a lot of things. I feel like there's a lot of avenues they could go with this universe and how they build different grids and different programs and what have you. So one can only hope that we get somewhat of a universe with this.
Yeah,
Solid.
buddy.
Yeah.
This will be my first Tron movie. It'll be good. It'll be good.
That's wild. For somebody
I
who
know.
likes movies as much as you do, that is wild.
It
to me.
breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. It really does.
Mm.
It really does. But then I also like which, by the way, we'll before we get to the end, we do need to give a special shout out to our number one fan, who is also a good movie buddy of mine, and he and I see a lot of movies that Pinky's like, you know what, that's just not for me. But Andy, I know he's also excited for this. He and I have been talking about this. So Andy, number one, happy early birthday, brother. We appreciate you tuning in and being there for us and giving us feedback. You're awesome. But yeah, excited to see this with Pinky for his first Tron movie. I still think that Legacy is the first one that he really should see, but we're out of time and Pinky has enough on his plate to get through during the week, so we're not going to add more right now.
I had to literally watch Peacemaker after work in my living room, doing weights, curling, a couple different ways to get my workout in and watch Peacemaker before the show tonight. So it's just too much. And then NHL's back, and then NBA's gonna be back, and I'll get to the Tron movies eventually. But I couldn't make it happen. I couldn't make
Welcome to my world. You finally feel it a little bit.
I'm also studying every day too, so like it's tough, man.
A lot going on.
All right, boys, let's circle the wagons and get it done.
I got a little bit of a rant. Wax poetic. You want me to go first tonight? Final thoughts?
Sure, let's go.
Well, what you got? Let's bring it.
Ladies and gentlemen, sprinkles are for winners and ties are for losers. And the fact that any sport allows a tie to happen is the biggest tragedy in sports at this current moment. I cannot stand it.
Except in soccer, because it
No,
works.
it's stupid in soccer too. I hate it all. Rules of the game were not made to say, hey, guess what? The objective is for you guys to score the same amount of points. No, the objective of all these sports that we talk about is to have a winner and a loser. And until that is decided, the game is not over. So no, there is no sport on the face of this earth where I will accept such an outcome as a tie ever being a good idea. Worthless beyond. Sprinkles
Agreed.
are for winners. Ties are for losers.
All right.
I mean, they don't even have ties in hockey anymore. They go to a shootout. Like, a shootout declares a winner. There needs to be a winner. Otherwise, what are we doing? Yay, we tied. We didn't technically lose. That's a everybody gets a trophy mentality. We need winners.
Eat that dub, Pinky. Robert, what are your final thoughts this week, good sir?
Oh man, I just keep getting reminded of how, awesome it is to have great groups of friends just doing different things. It's great. I mean, Pinky made a comment today that really touched me. He's like, Robert did see you this weekend and it just felt empty. Like it didn't feel right. Like there's just something that wasn't there. And so it's always great spending time together. Again, we get to see some of our best friends tomorrow, celebrating Andy. Like, it's just going to be a good time, and getting to spend time with friends it's always great. Like it's intoxicating, and it's one of the best feelings in the world.
Love that.
That's really all I got. Outside of, Tron, baby, like, let's go.
It's a busy weekend, man. We got Tron to figure out. I've got Crown Jewel to watch sometime on Saturday.
Pinky's got a breakfast party to host.
I know. Hannah's like, well, we got cinnamon rolls. We need something else. We got to go get. Now she wants to go get stuff for mimosas. So.
And remember, I walked up to your desk. Was like, Pinky. So I heard from someone like you're doing a mimosas and Bloody Marys party. Like I just heard that's what happens when the Broncos play at 7:30. And now here we are.
Here we are. Everybody's welcome. I got to send out the invite.
I want you to give Mom my credit for that. Like Robert did say.
That's what I told her. I did.
Okay.
I was like, Robert said that we were having a gathering at our house for mimosas and Bloody Marys for the Broncos game, and she's like, well, I've got cinnamon rolls, and like
it just goes along with it.
But we have to go get stuff for mimosas. So, hey guys, wrestling's on Saturday on ESPN. If you get it,
7 a.m.
Shout out 6 a.m.
6 a.m. Apologies.
8:30 Eastern, 6:30 our time.
If you want to watch it live, it's at 6 a.m. It is the John Cena has five dates left, Crown Jewel being one of them. So
is this on ESPN or just on the app, the platform?
On the ESPN Unlimited.
Okay. So
if you don't have ESPN Unlimited, like this guy, I don't have it. I had to get a password from somebody. I had to get somebody else's login. Thank you, Cody. You're the guy. To be able to watch it. So that's ESPN. You and TKO. You guys suck. Because half the cable providers who have ESPN don't have ESPN Unlimited. So both of you can suck it.
I like that. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, do not waste a moment to spend with your inner circle, family, loved one, friends, whoever you consider that to be. Cherish those moments and take advantage of them whenever you possibly can. We appreciate all the love and support. Please like, follow, share, subscribe. Push us out there and get people conversing. Let's have those conversations. Hit us up what you want to talk about or hear about. Till next week, or you see us on the socials. Peace.
Pinky in the building, reppin' orange and blue. Broncos country, yeah, you know how we do. Hot take so wild, you remember the name. From college ball to the pros, Caleb spitting game. Robert here, the pop culture plug. From comics to racing, pour the drink in the mug. Sports, nonsense and whiskey, yeah, bold talk. Good laughs and a glass in the air. Sports, nonsense and whiskey, right? Kick back, tune in, take a wild side.